A powerful woman who owned everything the world could offer was brought to her knees by the silent suffering of her twin children, trapped in bodies that could not move or speak. While doctors, money, and technology failed, a quiet act of human presence began to reach them in ways no treatment ever could. In the most unexpected corner of her mansion, hope arrived not as a miracle, but as patience, warmth, and compassion. This is a story about how kindness, not wealth, became the turning point of 3 lives. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of humanity in a world that often feels cold, please take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel Kindled Souls. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. The day Eleanor Whitmore realized that all the money in the world could not save her children was the day her empire began to feel like a prison. She stood behind a glass wall in the neonatal intensive care unit, watching 2 tiny bodies connected to machines, their chests rising unnaturally with mechanical rhythm. The doctors had already explained everything in calm, rehearsed tones. The twins were born with severe spinal and neurological damage. They would never walk. They would likely never speak. For the media, Eleanor Whitmore was a billionaire tech magnate, a self-made icon of American success. But in that moment, she was simply a mother staring at a future she could not buy her way out of. Eleanor's life had always been about control. She had built Whitmore Systems from a garage startup into a multi-billion-dollar company dominating healthcare software across the United States. She believed that intelligence, discipline, and relentless effort could solve anything. That belief shattered the moment her twins, Noah and Lily, were placed in her arms, silent, motionless, and fragile beyond comprehension. Their eyes followed light and movement, but their bodies did not respond. Their mouths opened, but no sound came out. In that silence, Eleanor felt a fear deeper than any business failure she had ever faced. The following years turned into a routine of therapy rooms, specialist offices, experimental treatments, and endless consultations. Eleanor spared no expense. She flew doctors in from across the country, funded research programs, and donated millions to neurological studies. Yet nothing changed. Noah and Lily grew older, their bodies remaining locked in stillness, their voices trapped somewhere inside them. They communicated only through eye movements and faint expressions, understood only by those who spent enough time watching closely. Despite the luxury surrounding them, the Whitmore mansion felt hollow. Eleanor's marriage did not survive the weight of grief and guilt. Her husband left quietly, unable to cope with the constant reminder of what could never be fixed. Eleanor buried herself deeper into work, convincing herself that providing the best care possible was the same as being present. The twins were cared for by nurses, therapists, and staff who rotated through shifts like clockwork. Everything was efficient, sterile, and emotionally distant. Among the many employees who worked in the Whitmore estate was a janitor named Samuel Brooks. He was in his late 50s, a quiet man with tired eyes and a gentle presence that often went unnoticed. He cleaned the long hallways early in the morning and late at night, pushing his cart past framed magazine covers featuring Eleanor's face. To most people, Samuel was invisible, just another background figure in a billionaire's world. What Eleanor did not know was that Samuel never hurried when he passed the twins' room. Every evening after finishing his assigned work, Samuel would stop by the doorway of Noah and Lily's playroom. He never entered when nurses were present. He never touched anything expensive. He simply sat on the floor just outside their view at first, humming softly. The melodies were old hymns and folk songs his mother used to sing when he was a child growing up in rural Georgia. Over time, he moved closer, sitting where the twins could see him. He brought nothing with him except patience. Samuel's own life had been shaped by loss. Decades earlier, His daughter had been born with severe disabilities and lived only 6 years. During those years, Samuel learned that progress did not always look like miracles. Sometimes it looked like a flicker of recognition in the eyes, a breath held just a second longer, a moment of connection that no machine could measure. After his daughter passed, Samuel lost his faith in grand promises but held on to small acts of love. With Noah and Lily, he did not expect anything. He talked to them as if they understood every word. He described the weather outside, the sound of birds in the garden, the way sunlight moved across the floor. He read them children's books from the small library in the room, carefully turning pages so they could see the pictures. He sang, sometimes off-key, sometimes whispering when they seemed tired. Weeks passed, then months. One evening, Samuel noticed something different. When he hummed a familiar tune, Lily's eyes widened slightly. When he stopped, her gaze softened. When he continued, her eyes followed him. Samuel did not react outwardly. He simply kept humming, steady and calm, as if nothing extraordinary had happened. He knew better than to rush moments like that. What Samuel didn't know was that a security system quietly recorded everything. Late one night, Eleanor was alone in her office, reviewing security footage after a minor incident reported by staff. By chance, she clicked on a camera feed from the twins' wing. She almost skipped past it until she noticed movement that didn't belong. There was the janitor sitting on the floor, completely absorbed in her children. Eleanor leaned forward, irritated at first, ready to reprimand him for overstepping boundaries. Then she saw Lily's eyes. They were focused, alive, engaged in a way Eleanor had never seen before. Eleanor watched, frozen, as Samuel gently clapped his hands in rhythm with his humming. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Noah's fingers twitched. Not a reflex, not a spasm, a deliberate movement. Eleanor's breath caught. Her heart pounded as she rewound the footage again and again, tears blurring her vision. For the first time in years, something had changed. The next day, Eleanor requested a private meeting with Samuel. He arrived nervous, expecting to be fired. Instead, he found Eleanor seated across from him, her usual authoritative presence replaced by something fragile and raw. She asked him what he had been doing with her children. Samuel answered simply. He told her he was just being with them, listening to them in ways others didn't think to. Eleanor authorized Samuel to spend time with the twins under supervision. Therapists were skeptical at first. There was no scientific protocol, no structured outcome. But Eleanor insisted. She had learned the hard way that not everything meaningful could be measured. Over the following months, the twins responded in small but undeniable ways. Their eye tracking improved. Their breathing patterns stabilized during Samuel's visits. One afternoon, Lily released a soft, broken sound while Samuel sang her favorite melody. It wasn't a word, but it was a voice. Doctors were cautious. They warned Eleanor not to build false hope. But Eleanor wasn't hoping for miracles anymore. She was witnessing connection. As Samuel continued, Eleanor began to change too. She stopped missing therapy sessions. She sat on the floor with her children. She learned to slow down, to notice subtle expressions instead of chasing dramatic outcomes. For the first time, the mansion felt alive. News of the twins' progress eventually reached Eleanor's professional circle. Some praised her for supporting unconventional therapy. Others dismissed it as emotional indulgence. Eleanor didn't care. She funded a new program focused on emotional presence and sensory bonding for children with severe disabilities. She insisted that Samuel be involved in training caregivers, not as an expert, but as a reminder of what compassion looked like. Years later, Noah and Lily still could not walk. Their speech was limited to soft sounds and assisted communication devices. But they laughed, they responded, they recognized love. At a small private gathering, Eleanor watched Samuel sit beside her children, his voice calm and steady. She realized that while she had built companies that changed industries, Samuel had done something far greater. He had reached two souls everyone else had quietly given up on. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness often comes from the most unexpected places, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who believes in humanity, and subscribe to Kindled Souls. Your engagement helps keep stories like this alive. Before this video ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment below with one line about what kindness means to you, or who in your life showed you compassion when you needed it most. Your words may become the hope someone else is searching for today. Sometimes, the most powerful miracles are not loud or visible. Sometimes they sit quietly on the floor, humming to children the world forgot to listen to.